Hello, my name is Mr. Fred Valenzuela, and I'm the Intro to Discrete Mathematics and Statistics teacher at Dunellen High School. This is my first year teaching at Dunellen High School, and I've taught previously at Rahway High School and at Colonia High School. And prior to that, I'd been teaching for 4 years as a substitute throughout the Middlesex County area. A little bit about myself: I grew up in Perth Amboy, New Jersey, and going through the school system there kind of made me see that there are a lot of students who definitely are in need of a math teacher that definitely cares about the subject and cares to want for them to succeed. And that's kind of what inspired me to become a math teacher today. Um, my goal as in my career is to be the one math teacher that your child doesn't grow up to hate, or the one math teacher that shows that math isn't something that needs to be feared or needs to be necessarily hated. Hopefully appreciated, but that's a tall task to have my kids learn to love math. But I want to definitely be the math teacher that's there for them and the one that they remember. Hopefully. Um, I come from a family of teachers. My mother is a second grade teacher, and my father is an adult school teacher. So, this is a very busy household in the morning when everyone's holding Google meetings for all their students. Um, a little bit about discrete mathematics and jumping into statistics. We start off the year with more discrete methods. Discrete mathematics is a branch of mathematics dealing with topics that are not necessarily like continual in terms of number system. We deal with like a lot of integers. We deal with a lot of distinct separate values, um, and some of the topics that we cover are urban, urban problem solving in terms of maybe traffic flow or finding optimal routes. We go over election theory and how voting can affect certain aspects of voting. We can predict the outcome of voting off of ballots, and a lot of graph theory, which it covers Hamilton circuits and Euler circuits, and is the basis of a lot of computer programming as well. What we also cover statistics, which is taking a look at data and trying to analyze data and make reliable conclusions when faced with that data. And we take a look at obviously besides like mean, median, mode, we take a look at measures of central tendency. We take a look at probability from those, sampling distributions, estimation, regression and correlation. So we take a look at all these in statistics. Um, this is definitely what I would consider a fourth year level of mathematics, because it's taking a lot of what students are understood for mathematics, and it's grandly expanding on those topics. In college, there are a lot more like higher level discrete mathematics courses, and this definitely is a good time for students to take a look at what's in store for them if they decide to pursue a mathematical career. A little bit about my classroom setting. We do have everything on Google Meet. I once had an online textbook for my students, but um, we've decided to switch to the physical textbooks. So most of the content that we're going to be going over is from the textbooks themselves, the physical textbooks, and classwork and homework is submitted through Google Classroom. On the Google Classroom, they're going to find daily do nows. They're going to find um, any classwork homework posted there, and they're going to find also any recordings I do of our Google Meets and any of the notes that we take. I have personally, in my setup, I have a drawing tablet for which to write on a virtual whiteboard, so to say. And I go over that throughout the class. I call on students, and then I write out the problems, or I draw on problems or draw on diagrams for the sake of notes. This is a pretty good solution to a remote learning setting, and it's as close to a real whiteboard in the classroom that we can get. All of those is posted along with previous lessons on the Classroom. So if students are ever absent, or they can't connect for whatever reason on their Chromebooks, they can always take a look back at the backlog of everything that I've taught throughout the year. General rules are: I don't allow cell phones in class. Since I do have seniors in this level, and I treat them with a great level of respect because they're practically adults at this point. They're already one step out the door in terms of, stepping onto the real world. So, I don't like to baby them around, but I also do, I already expect them to be well behaved. So it's not necessarily an issue of behavior, but just generally, I don't want cell phones in my classroom. I try not to, if they look like they're obviously distracted, I try to, bring them back. Cameras on, mics are muted, unless I call on them, obviously, in which they'll have the perfect opportunity to talk. Or sometimes, like during the do nows, I just kind of have an open thing where students are allowed to talk, and I moderate that. And just generally be respectful. But again, that's something that's a given when I have seniors, and I'm glad that so far my seniors have demonstrated a level of responsibility and maturity that they can maintain. Just the basic of ground rules in classroom. For breakdowns of my grading breakdown is 25% is going to be classwork, homework. Normally, these will be two very distinct things, but and as far as I'm concerned, students are in class and at home at the same time. Whatever classwork I assign my students, I give them. If they don't finish it in class, then I just generally have them complete it as homework, or they can submit it at a later date. I try to offer that much leniency, and also considering that my seniors might have other obligations in their near adult lives that might need addressing. So I try to give them that extra time to finish work. Another 25% is going towards quizzes. I try to have that on a weekly basis, and that's just covering one or two topics of anything we've covered, and just generally just whenever I need to assess them on a certain scale or certain topics, and tests which account for a larger quantity of subjects at once, or maybe even projects that I might give out. That's going to be the remaining 50%, and those are definitely important. I'm gonna give quizzes a lot more frequently than I will tests, but tests are very important. So it's a good, and I always try to have like a review day or two with my students, just so I know that they're up to speed and they know what's upcoming on the test. Let's see what else. Despite the circumstances of where we are now and with the remote learning, I believe that math is too important of a life skill to really water down or boggle down or not put my full effort into. I personally believe that mathematics is a skill that you're going to have for life. And I like to tell people that mathematics is the science of problem solving, because whether it's an actual problem with numbers, or whether it's a problem in real life, what math teaches them is how to analyze problems, how to interpret those problems and what needs to be done, how to take what they know needs to be done and put them in an organized list of steps, and to follow those steps properly. If they follow all four of those things, they're always going to arrive at a solution. And again, that could be analogous to anything in life. I like to think that my students walking out of my classroom will be more critical thinkers and, without a doubt, better problem solvers in life. And I'm always honest about my students, telling them that not every aspect of mathematics that I teach will be necessarily relevant to anything that I encounter in life. But as long as I teach them the skill of how to problem solve, that'll always be relevant, and they'll always, I suppose, be grateful for that in some way, whether they realize it or not. I'm here to help my students grow and learn, and I reward I reward high effort in my students, and I try to encourage students who might be too shy when it comes to the subject of math. I personally believe that if they take every advantage of the education system, even we're in a situation right now, I still believe that they'll be able to succeed. If there's anything that you need to reach out to me for, if you have any questions or if you have any concerns about your child's progress, please email me at valenzuelaf@dunellenschools.org. That's VALENZUELAF. Otherwise, you can ask your child for the code to our Remind class. I have a Remind setup where I send notices for quizzes, for homeworks, for any upcoming tests, any general announcements, and I have my students on there. It's a layer of redundancy for sending out announcements, but also it's a way to communicate with me one-on-one. If you'd like to have that sort of communication, just ask your child for the class code, or if you send me an email, I'll definitely be able to get you the class code for the Discrete Math class. And that's it about me, and that's it about my class. I look forward to a very successful school year with all of my students. Thank you.